When we hear the word dictator, our minds usually go to a very specific historical image: a military leader seizing control by force and explicitly tearing up the Constitution. Look around in 2026, and that definition feels completely outdated. Our parliaments are still sitting, the courts are open, and no one has suspended democratic law. Today's leaders don't need to break the system from the outside. They are quietly rewiring the legal and bureaucratic plumbing from within, passing bills and issuing executive orders that slowly eliminate any chance for legislative pushback. The primary threat to modern democratic autonomy is rarely a sudden military coup. It is the silent, completely legalized subversion of the state. Look at the approach of the populist boss archetype. It's built on loud disruption, aggressive rhetoric, and firing civil servants to replace them with loyalists. Then there is the manager archetype. The strategy here relies on quiet gradualism. Instead of shouting, these leaders use backroom deals to absorb opposition politicians, manufacturing synthetic majorities to bypass the intent of the voters. One uses a hammer, the other uses a scalpel. Yet, whether through loud executive orders or quiet legislative maneuvering, both methods result in a massive, unchecked centralization of executive power. Curious, why are opposing political forces rushing to gather so much absolute authority right now? To answer that question, we have to look directly at the underlying systemic collapse they are desperately trying to manage. Let's establish the physical reality of the global economy. Every single unit of GDP output, every product manufactured, every server powered, every shipment delivered, is directly tied to the consumption of physical energy. When energy supply drops by 5%, real GDP drops with it. The physical work cannot be done. To hide this, central banks print fiat money, pulling nominal GDP up on paper, creating a widening gap between imaginary growth and falling physical reality. We can call this thermodynamic dishonesty. The government masks a deficit in actual physical resources by continually destroying the purchasing power of your currency. What we experience as inflation is a deliberate political tool deployed to hide a permanent contraction of the state's physical resources. Keeping a financial illusion of this magnitude afloat requires total, centralized control over the public narrative and the financial ledgers. We see this taking shape through digital safety commissions and new cybersecurity laws. Under the guise of protecting the public from harm, internet traffic and online debate are legally funneled through government filters to silence dissent. Add the impending rollout of central bank digital currencies into the mix, and the state gains the exact architecture needed to monitor and potentially restrict individual purchasing habits in real time. Citizens face a slow death by 1,000 cuts, boxed in by minor digital inconveniences, by algorithmic shadow banning, and steadily shrinking financial privacy. Autocracy today does not require secret police in the streets. Instead, it requires strict digital compliance, turning individual citizens into easily managed nodes within a failing fiat network. We are entering what economic historians call a rupture, a terrible transition where the fiat system finally chokes on its own inflated complexity and shatters. Navigating this rupture requires a dual-layered survival strategy, something we can call the Fair Deal Sanctuary Playbook. The outward-facing strategy relies on acquiring physical utility assets, like purpose-built rentals or decentralized telecommunications. These are critical, everyday infrastructures that a desperate state is forced to heavily subsidize and protect. You play the manager's game in public. By accepting their fiat currency for these essential services, you weaponize the state's own inflation to fund your operations. The inward-facing strategy is where you secure your autonomy. You immediately convert that fiat operating income into a hidden treasury of hard money, like physical gold, to completely dodge the inflation tax. To protect this operation, the sanctuary integrates zero-knowledge encryption. This effectively blinds the state's digital safety apparatus, ensuring your internal network and treasury remain entirely private. Combining physical utility with hard asset reserves creates an inflation-proof micro-society. It provides stable, fair pricing for the people living inside, completely shielded from the financial chaos outside. We cannot individually stop a global Fiat reset. We can, however, embrace thermodynamic honesty and build decentralized lifeboats, ensuring our communities safely reach the other side.